Well, hello everyone. This is Keith with Positively Osceola. Welcome to another one of our Positively Osceola live shows, and we are glad to be here. Beautiful, kind of little wet day here in Central Florida, Osceola County. And so, if you live in Central Florida, you're experiencing some of the stuff we get in the summer out of nowhere. A little rain, something to talk about for sure. And so, that's what today brings. But what really is great about today is we get to speak to a friend that's in and around Osceola County. Certainly, most folks know this young lady, and that would be attorney Michelle Incandela with the Draper Law Office. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Good morning. Good morning, Osceola.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Like I said, a little misty out there, but it's how things live, right? A little bit of water.
Yeah, we have different definitions of beautiful. I think Keith. It's looking to me a pretty iffy out there. Rainy, misty, wet, more traffic, but I think it's going to turn into a really good day.
There you go. See, the positive outlook works for my branding. I was trying to avoid the word gloomy, but yet I said it. So again, thanks for coming today. We know you're super busy, and it is a great thing that you speak to us once a month, and we get to talk about things that are going on in your world and certainly our world, the community. And I'm a believer that people are busy and do their best to stay on top of things that are changing, and then things that affect their family life, their personal life, their business life, and that certainly is the case with some things that took place in this year's 2023 Florida legislature. Surely, a couple things happened in the legal end with tort reform, and so I'll let you talk about that. But first, let's go ahead and real quick talk about Draper Law Office. I know you guys have been around, so why don't you give us, for those folks who may have just moved into town, sometimes we forget to remind people who you are, who Draper Law Office is in the community. Please do.
That's right. Well, yes. So if you're new to Kissimmee or Osceola, then welcome to our wonderful home here. We have been around. Draper Law Office has been around since 1984, and we specialize in personal injury and family law. So specifically, I am a personal injury attorney, and I work to help people who have been involved in accidents, and if their families have been involved in an accident, to rebuild their lives and get back to as good a life as they can, or to where they were before. And so we have these wonderful, bonds with the community, having been here for so long. And I'm not going to lie, I have a great job, Keith. I have a great job. I get to help people. I get to help our community, and I'm in a really great place. Draper Law Office is wonderful people, have been around. Most of us have been there for 10 years or more because it's such a great place. And so just, love being able to help people. And it's a good thing.
And we could certainly talk for an hour of the things that you do. We'll speak a little bit about some of the community things you do for sure. But we could spend an hour, 2 hours, or at least, the rest of the day talking about the things that you guys have done in and around the community. Not everybody does that. Not everybody is community minded, certainly. But you guys are, and we note it. We appreciate it very much. So I'm going to kind of turn this over to you. You wanted to speak today a little bit about, like I said, something that had taken place in the Florida legislature this year. That kind of people should know about in case something does take place in their life where this would be something that would affect it. So I'm going to turn it over to you and talk a little bit about some of those changes that are happening or have happened.
Yeah, we're still working through how negatively these changes are going to affect the people in the state of Florida. But just to sum it up, there's really nothing good for the people in the legislative changes. I've seen it, marketed or touted as, this great insurance reform that's going to save us all these premiums. And I'm just going to, be straight with everyone. And that's not what's going to happen. What happens is it takes away a lot of the rights that you had before. And it really puts the scale, tilted heavily in favor of the insurance companies. And one could argue that it was already tilted towards the billion-dollar insurance companies. And I could talk for hours about the specifics of the changes, and I'm not going to bore anybody. Or you might have to stop me once I get started. A couple of the noted changes is that it lessened the amount of time that people have to bring a claim in the state of Florida from 4 years to 2 years, which sounds like a long time, but trust me, it's not. And I think that's going to create a whole new realm of litigation, going to make things a lot harder for people, a lot more expensive, and a lot more frustrating. There's changes with respect to how people can present evidence of their medical damages at trial. There's the change to the way that a jury can award fault. Florida used to be a jurisdiction where if you were found to be a certain percentage at fault for an accident, your award would be, reduced or increased depending, comparative to that fault. So if you were found to be 40% at fault, your award would be reduced to 40%. If you were found 60%, likewise. They've changed that to where if someone is 51% at fault, they recover nothing. So, it's a really complicated issue, but it's really bad for people. It's really good for insurance companies, and it's really, really bad for the people. So we're still working through how we can defend and advocate for our clients and work through this to still give them the just outcome that they deserve. So our job and what we do and what I do every day is I fight with insurance companies for people's rights. And I hear an awful lot about these fraudulent claims and how people bring these frivolous lawsuits. And I can tell you from working with people who have been involved in accidents that were not their fault, whose lives have been disrupted and sometimes devastated, it's really, really serious to the people that are involved. And so, I really am driven, and Charlie's very driven, and people who do what we do are very motivated to make sure that their rights are protected, and that we're going to fight as hard as we can for them, because it's very, very serious. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're rolling with the punches, and we're going to keep fighting and keep doing what we have to do, on their behalf, on the behalf of our clients.
Well said.
Mm-hmm.
So from I'll put it from in a personal perspective for myself. So, God willing, I don't have an accident. Nobody in my family has an accident. No one in your family has an accident. But let's say something does take place on a rainy day, pavement's kind of wet, something happens on the way to work. Now I'm involved in an accident. So from a legal standpoint, what can I do to make sure my rights are upheld? And so what do I have to do now that with the new changes?
So I would say that it's more important than ever that you talk to an expert and you talk to somebody that's going to protect you and your family. So call someone like Draper Law Office, or somebody that specializes in these types of claims, that's going to be able to tell you how to protect your family, protect yourself, and advocate for you. Insurance companies are going to take advantage of people from the first moment that they get a chance to do it. So the sooner you get in touch with someone who can explain your rights to you and guide you through the process, the better. And it's just so much more important now, following the tort reform, that you really speak to someone as soon as possible. So obviously, in priorities, in an accident, the first thing that I want anybody to do always is to tend to their medical needs, because there's nothing more important than your health and your family's health. That always, always, always comes first. So you tend to the medical needs, and then as soon as you can, you seek competent legal representation, somebody, a firm or a person that's going to really be able to understand what's going on, understand the laws of Florida, specializes in this type of claim, and is going to assist you and your family and protect your rights at every stage.
So it seems to me, and you used the word understand a couple of times, so I think that is the challenge. And media certainly has a tendency to grab onto humongous buzzwords, and we repeat them until our point is made or what our intention's made. I don't mean that to be sounding negative about anybody in general, but the reality is typically insurance companies are going to want to save any dollars they can, right? So that is the challenge for us all. So when you said understand, I just don't think the general public's going to always understand what these legislative changes mean. So can they just reach out to you and say, look, I've been involved with this, I have a question. Can I reach out to you in whatever way to try to find out what the answers are early, right? Is that something you guys are helping?
And we spend a lot of time working with people who aren't even clients, because it's important for us that we educate people to the extent that we can about all sorts of things. So I tell people all the time, look, if you're renewing your insurance policy, and I'm the person that's always touting, uninsured motorist coverage, you can't say it enough. But if you're renewing your policy and you have questions, because who understands the insurance policies? Who really reads the insurance policy and understands what all these coverages are?
Right.
If you don't have the benefit of an agent that's really going to go through, or some expertise with the insurance industry, there's a lot of questions that can come up. So I always tell everybody, call us and reach out to us and say, look, I have general questions about this. I can't offer you legal representation, but I can certainly offer you some educational advice on a lot of different topics. So yeah, if it's something that you're concerned about in our specialty, please, give us a call. We are more than happy to help. And I would so much rather help someone in advance that's going to prevent them from having the problem down the road.
Gotcha. And I've got the information so people can understand. Just go to draperlawoffice.com, or you can call certainly Michelle or Charlie, anyone on the team, at 407-846-0075. I want to make sure I mention a couple people that popped in real quick and had some comments. Certainly Mark Ranowski and Daryl Ames. And I want to point out Daryl Ames's beard is absolutely spectacular these days. So anyway, that's great information. Again, reach out to Draper Law Office, and anyone on their team can help you. Certainly Michelle, as you know, would be a great help. Find out what's going on. Make sure your rights are protected. So you've been around since 1984. You've certainly been in, both you and Charlie and everyone on your team have been hugely involved with the community. And like I said, not every organization, not every business chooses that path, but you do. And it is a time commitment. Sure, it's often a financial commitment to be so involved with the community, but you guys do that. So I know you're up to something really cool these days, and with regard to animals. And so I'm going to let you, or ask you to kind of fill us in with what you've been doing lately as far as your community touching these days.
So yeah, one of our projects is working with Osceola County Animal Services. And so we've been going out there with Positively Osceola and, showcasing some of the wonderful animals that they have waiting for their forever homes, and also doing some donations. And we also have, I don't know if you realize, but the Osceola, there's little, I forget his name, is that Mittens? At one point I knew them all, but there's so many of them now. At one point, I don't know if you realize, but Osceola County Animal Services is in St. Cloud, and you know how huge Osceola is. And I live closer to the Point Siena area, and I know a lot of people in the Point Siena area will not or can't go all the way out to St. Cloud to either do a donation or to get involved with, animal services, just too far for them. So office, which is right across the street from the courthouse in Kissimmee. So if you can make a donation to animal services, and you can find out on their website all the things that they need for their animals, for the puppies and kittens and their care, everything from peanut butter, dog treats, blankets, towels, all those sorts of things. Yeah. And also, I am a foster. I'm actually a foster failure, because I have made the commitment that I'm going to actually adopt our foster. And so, yeah, it was pretty, looking like it was going to be a failure from the beginning, but they have an absolutely incredible, who was I kidding, really? No, they have an incredible foster program, and they have a lot of people who foster just repeatedly, that they can't make long-term commitments, but they can commit for a couple of weeks or possibly a couple of months to help an animal, to keep that animal out of the shelter, whether it's a kitten, a puppy. I know during kitten season, they're always looking for people to work with, mommy kittens, mommy cats and nursing kittens. And sometimes just take one kitten or take a litter of kittens, or, whatever you can handle. Just anything that you can do to help the animal be out of the shelter and socialize, and then they take them back and put them up for adoption and find them wonderful homes. But they're just inundated right now. They have so many cats and dogs that just really, really need their forever home. So we're trying to get the word out to people, to go there and check out those wonderful creatures. So we're going there once a month. I think we're going there next week, I think. We have an appointment. We're going to schedule something to get out there, and you'll see more of those animals in those videos. Yeah, that number, that 168 number that you have up there, I think has gone up since our last visit. And I know people sometimes have it in their heads, I can't go to an animal shelter because it's really a depressing place, and I'll be so upset. if you spend some time there and you start to realize, as we've spent some time with the staff and our entire family is going to do volunteering events, you spend some time there and you start to realize how much they absolutely love these animals and do everything in their care to make the time that those animals have to spend with them as wonderful as possible, playing with them, enriching them, giving them attention. That's my foster. That's Danny, who's now Danny Incandela. And she's incredible. She's the smartest dog in the world, but that's just my personal opinion. But they have so many wonderful animals there, and they really, really do care about them. One thing they could also use is people who come to the shelter to actually volunteer there and
Right.
spend some time with the animals. Play with them, give them enrichment toys, help them out in all different ways. And there's so many different ways to help. We're trying to let people know that if you can't come into the shelter, there's still things that you can do. Go to Publix when peanut butter is on sale, buy one, get one free, or the dog treats are on sale, buy one, get one free, maybe donate one, to the puppies and the kittens. But there's just so many things that, people can do. Foster, donate, donate your time, visit the shelter, and get the word out, to your friends and neighbors that you don't have to make a permanent commitment. You can help them temporarily, but do something to help them. Just such a great place. And who doesn't love puppies and kittens? Most of us love our dogs more than we love people, right?
We can't talk about that now.
If we're being honest, how many of us would say, I would rather spend time with my dog than most people? And we get it, we understand that. But there's about 170 of them waiting to be your friend. So,
Right.
Yeah, please get the word out.
Yeah, it is a I think most of the people that live in not just St. Cloud, live in Osceola County in Central Florida realize, we've been saying it for a while. The secret's out. Great place to live. Great place to work. Great place to enjoy life and experience life. And because of that, there is an onslaught of humans that are moving into the area, and it's not just humans, right?
Right.
There are a lot of pets coming in the area, and a lot of animals are left to their own, unfortunately. So it's a big deal. It's a huge task, and like you said, it's something we need to focus on for sure. We're going to try to keep helping you do that, and you're doing a great job. So hats off to you guys for taking the lead on that in the area, in the county, and making that move.
And Keith, we're trying to, get some businesses on board also, because I know that you have met our office kitties, who are just wonderful additions to the staff. And so we want to let people know, listen, if you have a business, probably not a restaurant, wouldn't be ideal for that. But if you have a business, and an office cat can make a really nice addition to your staff. The clients absolutely love them. They're great stress relief for our clients. Sometimes they come in, they're under a lot of stressful situations, in our office anyway, and the cats really kind of help to distract them and soothe them, and the staff loves them. And so, keep in mind, if you have a business in an office, it might be a good option for you as well. Don't just think about home.
That's true. We've tried to have an office cat for a few years, and we're still going to work on that. And just another reason.
Now.
I got some things I got to get through in certain places to make that happen here.
We're gonna do it.
I would say, of all the reasons that you should visit Draper Law Office, certainly the cats are one of those reasons for sure. Keeps the visits a happy place for sure.
Yeah.
So again, we really appreciate your time today, and please, again, we would encourage everyone to look to Draper Law Office, 407-846-0075. If you have any questions about the differences in insurances these days, certainly in the state of Florida with the legislative changes, they're the source. Go to those folks over at Draper Law to help you out with all the questions you might have, and really just to protect your rights. And so we appreciate you today very much, Michelle.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day, Keith, and have a wonderful day, Osceola.
Looking forward to seeing you out at Osceola Animal Services, and certainly at Draper Law Office. Again, Keith with Positively Osceola, along with Michelle Incandela with the Draper Law Office, together making a positive difference in and around Osceola County. Thanks.